Welcome to Esherwalton, everybody. It's home to Riverviews, Range Rovers, and relentless Liberal Democrat rule. Yeah, boo! Yes, both the constituency and the local council, Elmbridge Borough Council, are proudly run by the most not-so-democratic Lib Dems. And let me just say, what an experience that has been. I was elected in 2022 at just 18 years old, making me the youngest councillor in the UK at the time. Though I'll admit it hasn't helped me on the dating front. Hi, I'm on the local planning committee. Doesn't quite set hearts racing like it used to. But in January of this year, I defected from the Conservatives to Reform. It gave me the prestigious and completely uncontested title of Leader of Reform UK and Elmbridge Council, which sounds very grand until you realise I'm the leader, the deputy, and the entire membership. Just me. One man, one seat, one mission, and let me tell you, they feel the pressure. Because here's the truth. The opportunity for reform here in Elmbridge, Esherwalton, and wider Surrey is enormous. I've seen it firsthand. The main parties, they're lazy, they're complacent, they're entitled. They've stopped earning your vote, they expect it. And let me give you an example. Back when I was campaigning for the Conservatives, not that long ago, we used an app called VoteSource. Now, it told us who normally voted, they give them the turnout, how they usually vote. So let's say Mrs. Smith has only voted 2 out of the last 7 elections. The system would then tell us, don't knock on Mrs. Smith's door, low turnout. So let that sink in. Entire groups of people ignored because they didn't fit their algorithm. That's our base. That's reform's opportunity. These are the people who have been forgotten, overlooked, written off by the establishment parties. They're not hard to reach. You just have to listen and actually care. It's not rocket science, it's common sense. And here's the kicker. Turnout in local elections here average around 35%. That means 2/3 of the electorate stay home. If we speak to the unheard, the disconnected, the written off, we win. It's simple as that. Now, I often use a metaphor to describe the Conservatives. Some of you have maybe heard me use it before. So I'm going to paint a picture for you. Now, imagine a once great cruise ship. It's proudly sailing the seas, and its name, boldly painted on the side, is the Conservative Party. Now, for years, people boarded onto that ship, believing it was the safest, most reliable way to reach their destination. Prosperity, security, and national pride. But when you step inside, you quickly realise the truth. The captain has no idea where he's steering, the crew is constantly fighting over who should hold the map, and the passengers, ordinary hard-working Brits, are being charged more and more just to stay afloat. Meanwhile, the first-class deck, also known as Westminster Elites, is busy popping champagne, pretending everything is fine. And then one day, that ship hits an iceberg. And it's not just any iceberg, it's one made of high taxes, open borders, economic decline, and broken promises. So what do? Now, instead of fixing the damage, they argue about diversity quotas for the lifeboats and whether or not they can charge passengers extra for oxygen. Well, I saw the water rising and I thought it's time to get off this sinking ship. And that's where I found Reform UK. Now, it's not some fancy yacht for the political elite, but it's a sturdy, no-nonsense vessel built for the people who actually keep this country running. A party that doesn't just talk about saving Britain, it actually means it. Because while the Conservatives are busy rearranging the deck chairs on their doomed ship, we at Reform are building a new fleet, ready to take Britain where it actually needs to go. And let me tell you, people are lining up to board. Now, the mission really is to turn all this energy into tangible results. Because what's happening in our local council chambers is not just disappointing, it's dysfunctional. Now, I think I've got a little clip for you here. I've had one council meeting so far as a Reform councillor. And let me tell you what happened when I dared to ask a basic, reasonable question in the council meeting. And that question was, how much has Elmbridge Borough Council spent on housing for Afghani and Ukrainian migrants? That's a pretty simple question. It can be interpreted any way you want. This was their response. Have you got the clip?
Okay, we've got 1 minute. Councillor Varty, would you like to answer your question, please?
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Can the leader please clarify how much has been spent on housing for Afghan and Ukrainian families, and whether any local funding has been used? And also to what is the long-term plan to these homes in relation to the local housing need?
Would you lead it?
Sorry, I'll do that again. Does that use up the minute? Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Thank you, Councillor Allman Varty, for your question. I'm now going to hand over very slowly to the portfolio holder for housing, Councillor Batchelor. Thank you.
Councillor Batchelor.
I'm not sure I can do this in a minute, but I will endeavour to happily write a longer response. The truth is the Local Authority Housing Fund was developed in response to a humanitarian...
I'll be honest, that really annoyed me, that meeting, and I hope that clip annoys you too. It doesn't seem fair, and the transparency, public interest and accountability, you know, their response, they danced around the question. I won't play the whole thing because they didn't even answer it, like it was radioactive. They didn't give an answer, they just gave attitude. And when I followed up to ask, you know, how much are we spending on homeless, they just didn't let it. And I was actually made to feel quite intimidated in that meeting. So this is your council, this is your money, and this is how they treat it. And over a year ago, one more example, I asked a county councillor for Hersham, I won't embarrass him, about a set of disgraceful damaged roads. His response? Oh, that'll take at least 6 months. And I laughed, because I thought he was joking, and he wasn't. He looked genuinely offended that I laughed, and he said, that's just how it is. But that's the point, isn't it? These people have been in power for so long, and he's been in for over a decade, that they've become numb to poor results. They don't push for better because they don't believe better is possible. That's why there's such a massive disconnect between the elected and the public. They've given up on ambition. Now, Reform UK hasn't. We're here to bring a common sense back to local government. From potholes to planning, housing allocations to fiscal responsibility, we need a total reset. And our vision is simple. If we spend money, it should be accountable and transparent. If we build homes, we should build infrastructure to go with it, not just boxes and fields with no schools, roads or doctors. And if someone fails to deliver, they should be held accountable and not promoted. And that is why Reform UK stands for, and that's what I stand for. We're not here to tinker with the broken machine. We're here to replace it completely. So let's take this fight to every ward, every doorstep, and every forgotten resident across Elmbridge. The time of being ignored is simply over. The time of excuses is over. This is our moment. Let's take it. Thank you very much.